Hello family and friends. We're about to go on that ride that I promised you in the earlier catch-up video after the service being done. Finally have the opportunity to do that. So we're going to go out and ride a couple of twisty roads and bring you up to date on some thoughts and some of the more enjoyable aspects of owning this magnificent machine. It's always fun, of course, although as one philosopher said, sometimes are more fun than others. Anyhow, we're going to do that ride. Pardon my shadow. We're going to get suited up and take off here. Okay, I think we're recording. One of the fun things about GoPro motorcycles and setting up with speakers and whatnot is that, whoa, traction control. Just ran over some gravel. I wanted to get there before that truck would turn his left into me, and got through some gravel, and I could feel the throttle get modulated, chopped actually. Anyway, one of the fun things about GoPros, motorcycles, and setting all this stuff up is that really never sure that you're recording and capturing it all till you get back. A little side story about that. Shoot. Watch Mom, no hands. Thank you, Otto Blipper. Yeah, I set off the other day to do some video logging. Spent about 45 minutes running around the hills here. I wanted to do one before I took the machine in for its break-in service. And somehow or another, I bumped the setting over to time-lapse. So I got home and I looked at the video links that I'd captured, and they were about 6 seconds, and it should have been more like 10-20 minutes. And I thought, what the heck? I took a look at them, and yeah, unusable. So anyhow, that you never know, and I won't know this particular time until I get back and try and do the editing. By the way, my hat's off to the video loggers out there before me who have done such a great job. One of the things I've come to really appreciate is the editing process and the creative process, just setting it all up, locating the camera, auto blip down there, going out, taking photos, bringing it back, editing, putting it together, getting rid of a bunch of extraneous things, and making your video log. Some of them are extremely good at it and very well talented. I am not. It's less about the video for me and more about the machine. So I've not really, can't complain because I've not really put in the educational time or the learning effort on all the video gear yet. That may happen. I may get to that. I'm not horrible at it, but I don't think I approach anything beyond mediocre. So having said that, put that all aside, that particular rant is over. We are in beautiful Rancho Santa Fe, California, or more properly Fairbanks Ranch, just passing their golf course now, on San Dieguito Road, one of my favorite twisty roads, and also one of the roads where more often than not I'm behind a car like you see right in front of us. Well, anyway, one can still have fun, responsible fun, on a motorcycle following a small, timid car driven by a timid driver. But, so the purpose of this video is to talk about the ownership experience, carry a little further from the one I just shot a couple of days ago, about the modifications I had done to the machine and the first break-in service. To that end, I want to say that my ownership experience really so far has been just excellent. If any complaints I do have are very minor in nature and have to do more with suiting the machine to me than Aprilia building a Tuono with mass appeal. So let's start off with the ergonomics, the things that you do to get to the controls. By the way, no hands? You gotta watch out. She wants to jump. No hands, upshift. So I am 5'10", about 190 pounds, compact, with a normal 30-inch inseam. I buy pants from 31 to 32 inch inseam depending upon how I want them to break or work along the fall line. Situation with the Tuono, as far as fitting me very specifically, is that it is a trifle tall, so I cannot really completely flat foot this thing. I'm standing on my tiptoes right now, clear to the left, and that's not a particularly troublesome issue. You do need to watch out where you are on roads sometimes, because a crowned road, particularly if you're in the crown and you're putting your foot down in the groove where cars have set for quite a while, can upset you. It takes a moment, your foot keeps going down and you think, hey, I should have touched ground about 5 seconds ago, but you're just coming down into that little furrow worn by other car tires. So seat height, trifle tall for me. Again, 5'10", 30 to 32 inch inseam. You make your decision about that. Hey, a Harley guy waved to me. Ha-lava. To borrow a phrase from our Hebrew friends. I guess that means that he thought I was sufficiently cool. Normally they don't. So just a trifle tall. I understand there's things you can do, like wind the springs down and do all that, but it's not that bad, and I am too worried about changing the characteristic of the machine, which no way do I want to do. Second part of the ergonomics is the so-called rider triangle, and that is from your feet to your waist, up through your shoulders, then to your arms and wrist as you bend forward to engage the controls. It's fairly aggressive. It's kind of interesting. I came off of a 2014 MV Agusta, which I dearly loved, Brutale, to come to this, and the Brutale was actually much more upright. Your feet were a little more in a straight angle. Feet on this machine in the rider triangle actually angled back a little more on the sports bike side of things, and it's not so much as to really give you all right, car, do you see me? See this washout here? There's always dust on this side of the road. But it is a pretty aggressive riding stance, and I'm going to say I don't think one would woohoo! I don't think one would want to do that for 8 hours in a day. So Harley friends, I envy you that riding comfort. Harley Indian friends in the sit-up and bay cruiser-ish position. Carrying on in the ergos is where your head is as you're semi-lean forward into this, and your head is actually tilted back on your shoulders to get a clearer field of view. You're really looking through, I'm going to say, the top third. Oh my goodness, all these people leaving? Sweet. Let's roll on, just make sure no one makes any crazy moves in an intersection. So you have that, your head kind of a 3/4 tilt back during the day of riding. You get to a certain vintage and that can tire. That can get very tiring. So quite often what I find myself doing, particularly when I stop for fuel, which is not that unusual on a Tuono, I will be stretching my neck and massaging my neck and saying, what the heck happened there? And then it dawns on me, okay, this guy has got that aggressive riding position. So those are the ergonomics. Again, I know those are subject to modification. Someone wrote me on one of the earlier videos about the fact that you can change your bars, do quite a bit towards bringing them up and a little more towards you, a little more swept back. Also, it's possible to get rear sets that will do something to relieve those locations, not everything, but something. And all right, I sympathize with all that. Yeah, you can sure do that, but again, it's early stages for me, and I'm not going to mess essentially with the machine. So there we have the ergonomics. Now let's talk about aesthetics, which is a fancy way of saying, ain't she pretty? And yeah, she is pretty. That color job on the factory, sort of polarizing. People either really like it, you're into that whole Italian flag color kind of thing, or you don't. And I fall into the category of, yeah, I do. I'm not particularly a showy person, so it's sort of interesting that I do like that. And I recognize that when you pull up on something like this, 9 motorcycles out of 10 are black, or as some people like to say, murdered out, which is the 21st century terminology for black, or matte black, preferably. And you get off on this color machine and people are just saying, oh, what is that thing? Because it's not it ain't a Harley, it ain't black. But pardon that, I do like that. I do like the colors. The carrying on the aesthetics are the muffler, which is really ugly. Man, that thing is really ugly. It's like a big old aluminum can sticking out the side of it. It still sounds good, I think, anyway. But it is pretty ugly. Not my favorite part of the machine, aesthetically speaking, if I may say so. So, might do something about that. Really not all that enthusiastic to do so, just because, hey, I'm an old dude, and I'm not interested in ruining my hearing anymore. But if I could find something that'll maintain a certain level of noise, I don't want to ride around with resonance and drone in my ears. I do wear earplugs. That's pleasing, maybe perhaps improve the timbre or the quality of the noise. I might attempt something like that. Second part of the aesthetics that people always comment upon is, dude, get a tail tidy. And yeah, I know people talk about that. I'm not entirely inclined to do that, because one of the things that you get with this configuration of that tail tidy is the turn signals are stuck out there far enough. I had a lady, I'm going to open up my helmet here for a sec, you might get a little wind noise. I had a lady turn left as I was turning left underneath me, if you know what I mean. I look over and here's a car turning left right beside me already, and she's just staring down at her car, looks over at me and gives me a look like, and I had my signals, look like, what are you doing, you idiot? And of course I had that same opinion looking at her. But it's entirely possible that she did not see those turn signals. They're not all that prominent. By the way, we're going through the village of Rancho Santa Fe right now, heading on to a nice little twisty bit of road. So, gotta say that gives me a catch as far as whether I would, in fact, put in a tail tidy. Not too sure I'm going to do that, even though people remark on how that standard tail is so ugly. I've had the Beamer for 3 years now, and I've not done it yet on that. Whoa, I needed to drop a gear there, I didn't do it. So, I don't think I'm exactly ready to do that. I don't know. I just, little safety side of that. And I live in it, even though right now you're seeing some very pretty rural roads, there are a number of times I'm out there with traffic and I can't bring myself to trust the cars. I just don't think they see it. And the consequences for them are a scratch. Consequences for you are broken bone. Maybe luckily a broken bone as opposed to a broken head or something like that. So that is on the aesthetic side. I don't think I'm going to do that yet. I may in fact, as I say, do a muffler later on, but that's going to wait for a while. It's going to wait at least until the bike's out of warranty. Tail tidy, I don't know. It doesn't bother me. I know some people say, gee, that bike is so ugly with that tail on it. You got to do something. I don't think so, actually. Last subject as we enjoy our little winding road through Rancho Santa Fe, heading out towards Del Mar and Del Mar Racetrack. The last thing I want to mention is on the performance side, and the 2 mods that I did so far. I've now had a couple of days to enjoy them. Completely sold on doing that twist-off gas cap. If anybody has one of those on any kind of machine, that is the old type with the keyed flap on it, get rid of that thing and go to a gas cap. Especially in California, we have these vapor retention rules that require you to have a hose nozzle that covers the tank as you're fueling it. And what that does is it makes filling them problematic because there's a backup valve in there that automatically goes on and off. And when it does, you get some fuel splashing around. You're on a hot motorcycle with fuel splashing down the sides, and that ain't a good idea. That ain't pretty. That's not right. That ain't right. So I am completely sold. Here we go. I am completely sold on that removable gas cap. A little less sold on the CRG carbon levers, because I think that, like every other young man, I fell in love. Oh, thank you, car. Just what we needed. I fell in love with carbon fiber. Oh, carbon fiber. Gotta have it. And I actually paid a little extra, probably 10% over what a set of levers might have been in anodized aluminum, to get the carbon fiber, because after all, they're lighter and it's carbon fiber. And I think that, first of all, they are gonna, if these hit anything, they're gonna break. They're carbon fiber is uber lightweight, very strong, but also exceedingly brittle. So any kind of force that's visited upon it from the angle that the engineers who designed it don't want to have, you're going to break it. It's going to break. So it kind of bothers me a little bit about that. I don't like the idea of trying to get home from someplace with a broken lever. You could do it, but doesn't sound like much fun to me. Then the other issue is their adjustability, which was my attraction in the first place. And I think they're already, particularly on the brake side, I think it's already adjusted down all the way. And I think that it's not enough for me. I would actually like to have it a little closer to the bar. So I should have, mea culpa, my fault. I should have checked that before I ever made that deal with the devil there. I should have checked them and didn't do so. So again, mea culpa. But those two mods, gas caps, a yes. Carbon fiber brake levers, a little less excited about. Brake and clutch lever, a little less excited about at the moment. Although they are nice looking, but you got to be a foot away from the motorcycle to see it. And any other issues? I think the flash that was done at the dealership, the software update, I think the software update has indeed cured the issue of the hot stalling. If you were out riding this thing in the past and pulled in the clutch to roll up to a signal when it was really warm, or after you'd been riding for a while, it would occasionally stall. The old days, that wouldn't have been the end of the world, because you could have just let out the clutch, caught the motor, and taken off again. Can't do it on these modern computer-controlled machines, so you had to hold in the clutch all the time. You're coasting up to a stop sign with all these cars coming around you. Hold in the clutch, hit the starter lever, and it would sometimes take 2 or 3 attempts before it would crank over and catch fire, and life would be wonderful again. So that was really kind of a pain, and that seems to have disappeared with this update. Might take a while for it to show up, but I do believe that's been taken care of. Here we go. Those lights you see, if you can see them going across the dash, are the traction control system. So I think I'm cranking on full throttle, but the Tuono is saying, you're not exactly, pal. I'm watching you. Got an eye on you. You're not really cranking on full power, because I'm dialing it back. That's why those lights are flashing. Okay, thank you, Aprilia. I'm not sure that that's saving my butt, but comforting to know that Bosch, the imperial god Bosch, not Lucas, the Prince of Darkness, but Bosch, the prince of all things inscrutably German, electronically engineered, is watching over you and keeping you from your own self. Okay, a little sideways. That was a little sideways chatter there, but I think it's clever enough. That's right around it. Would I buy this again? Yes, I would. El Camino Real. I would buy this again. Would I recommend it to other riders? That's going to be a big depends. That's going to be not the male diapers. That's going to depend upon those riders, because this machine is a liter, 175 horsepower, very performance oriented, more performance oriented than comfort oriented. So if it's a rider who really enjoys kind of cruising and rolling around, no, I wouldn't recommend it. Also, secondarily, I would not recommend it to a new rider. It's a lot of machine. It is a lot of machine. So I would say start off, I'm going to go back to say and start off on what I did, which was a 650 650 Kawasaki Ninja. Do you see me? Do you see me? You do. Thank you. Let's get out of their way. So that little Cowie was a great machine and was perfectly to progress forward. Had 70 horsepower, which was enough to keep me from getting bored with it in a short period of time. Really got, it was a very basic machine, really got me back into the, had ABS, which I wholeheartedly recommend. Really got me back into the science and art of motorcycle riding. Though new riders, again, nah, not going to recommend a Aprilia Tuono, no matter how rich you are, as a first machine, or a first-ish machine. Gosh darn, people are slow. I progressed through that Kawasaki to a Brutale 800cc Brutale 125 horsepower, which arguably was a bigger step than I perhaps should have taken in any case. Then came the 2014 BMW S1000 Single R, which is an awesome machine in its own right. I will do a comparison video on those. And now ended up on this, and this is just delicious as a motorbike, as only the Italians could make them. So that's it for me. Over and out. Hope you enjoyed this little cruise and my little diatribe and discourse, a disquisition on the 2017 Aprilia Tuono Factory.